Good day, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and this is episode 82, and I just thought I'd hop on here and give you some project updates and talk about some things I just acquired. Yes, I was shopping again, but you know, a week without shopping for fabric is, well, non-existent. Simple as that, eh? So, right behind me is my latest project that I'm working on for Christmas. Still working in the Christmas theme, trying to stay ahead of it, which is kind of ridiculous because you acquire all these Christmas projects, then what do you do with them? Well, as I've said in a previous video, possibly give them away as gifts. But anyways, I've always wanted to do this type of quilt, an attic window, and it looked like it was probably very complicated. Well, yeah, it could be because it is one that involves, in the traditional way, Y-seams. Now, I've done Y-seams before, and I'm not that afraid of them. They're not that difficult, but they're not that much fun either. And a lot of people don't like doing Y-seams, but I came across this free pattern for doing the attic window without using Y-seams, which is really cool. In fact, this quilt can be done very, very quickly. I did this top. It's not finished yet. The top is finished, but I haven't layered it and I haven't quilted it, and that's next on my agenda, probably sometime next week. And I will do a little bit of a video session with that, showing you what I'm thinking of doing or what I actually end up doing. But this is a panel. In behind the windows, so to speak, the illusion of windows. It's a Christmas panel, and you just cut it into equal pieces. Your instructions, and you can find these instructions anywhere. I think this was put out by Robert Kaufman. It's like a 2-page instruction for a panel. Just do a search for free attic window panel patterns, and you'll find literally hundreds of them. Because it's very simple to do. So you cut the panel up and you cut these strips, and the way that you put the strips together gives you the illusion of a window. And you can see the colors that I picked. I picked a white fabric with a bit of a pattern to it, which you can't see in the video probably, but it looks sort of like snow in a sense. And I'm using that on the sill of the window. And then just 2 shades of a darker color for the side pieces. And as I said, this went together really, really fast. Now, it's not a big quilt. You could make it any size you want. I mean, you don't have to use a panel for this style of quilt. It's just that with a panel, it really gives you the illusion you're looking out through a window. Now, I had a different panel that I showed you, I think, last time that I was thinking of using for this, but it was already a panel that in itself looked like it was set in a window. And once you get cutting it up into the smaller pieces, I think it would have looked really weird. So I went to Ultimate Sewing and picked up a different panel, and that's what I ended up with. So now I've got to do the sandwiching of it and the quilting, and my idea is I might do a form of free motion quilting, very simple free motion quilting along each one of the what I call the windowsills, the white pieces, just to enhance it, make it look more like snow. And then I'm playing with the idea of doing a large snowflake, very open design snowflake, using my embroidery machine to quilt in the center of each one of the window panels. It would be in a very light thread, maybe a silver, I'm thinking. Something maybe a little different. I don't know. I'll see. It might be too busy if I do that. So I'll have to experiment a little bit and see what happens. And that's on my books for next week. So that is called an attic window quilt. Okay. I'm still working on my Christmas Dresden table runner, and if you just give me a second, I forgot to get it to show you what's happening. So I only really have one, get my wires out of the way, I really only have one piece done. Now there's going to be 4 of these, and each one's going to have a little bit of a different embroidery design on the inside. And these take a while to do, as anything. This is a combination of in the hoop applique. Each one of these is an applique, and then the embroidery on top of them, machine embroidery. So each one of these takes several hours to make. I have made this before, but not as a Christmas one. I did it with a different design. Now, the one thing I have the fault with the design of this is you do these in fours and then put together like a four patch. But then you have this center section that actually doesn't have anything in it. And I think it looks unfinished. So what I did was I created a snowflake in silver, and I did it as a freestanding lace design. And then I just used glue. You could sew it down, but I just use fabric glue, which will hold. And this is never going to be washed. So yeah, I'm not worried about that, but it would hold up in a wash as well. And I'm just sticking it in the center of that, and I think it finishes it off quite nicely. So that is something that I'm working on as well. I'm working on several projects, as I always do at once. Sorry, my nose for some reason is a little itchy. The other project I'm working on, which also involves freestanding lace, are Christmas cards. I think I mentioned last time the Christmas ornaments, and I think I showed them to you, the freestanding lace Christmas ornaments, and I said that I was making a bunch of these to give as gifts at Christmas to the ladies that look after me so well at Ultimate Sewing. Well, then my art journaling group decided that we should have a Christmas card exchange. And I'm not big into making Christmas cards anymore because I don't really send out Christmas cards anymore. But it got me thinking, well, why not use the Christmas card idea as a background to these freestanding lace ornaments, and a person can detach them from the card and do what they want to do with them. Hang them on their Christmas tree, put them on a Christmas gift, whatever. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm not finished these yet because I need to make about 17 of these. But here's the style. Here's what the finished card looks like. So I used to make cards because I am a paper crafter as well. This was a very simple card to make because I had lots of Christmas scrapbooking paper left over. So that's what I'm using on the background of the card base. And I picked paper that had the silvery bluey kind of gray colors that I'm using in the ornaments as well. And I just stuck them to the front. Now I stuck them down with a glue dot so they'll easily come off the front of the card, and the person who gets these can use this for another purpose. So yeah, this is kind of fun. The inside of the card is just a Christmas sentiment, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, blah blah blah, in there. So so far I have about 10 of these made, pile here of these, and I'll just continue. Now I'm making 4 of them at a time in the hoop, but that doesn't mean that it cuts down on your time for each one. It just means instead of having to do rehoopings multiple times, I can make 4 in one hooping. And I have my machine over here set up for it. At the risk of making you sick, I'll just turn this over here so you can see. So there's my setup right there. I'll continue after I finish doing today's video, working on that. So that's another Christmas project. And that's all I've been working on right now. What else have I been doing? Well, or what I'm going to do. Well, yesterday, Designs and Machine Embroidery, Dimes, came out with their October door. These are free. I've shown them to you before. There's one for every month, and they come out with it each month. And I've been following it since pretty much the first of the year. So I have all the doors up to date. And today they came out with, actually yesterday, they came out with the October door. And these are the instructions for it and what it's going to look like. And so later today, I'm probably going to work on that as well. And of course, my idea is that at the end of the year, when I have all 12 doors, I'm going to put them together into a wall hanging. They're actually designed to fit on this rack, which you can buy from them. They're about a 5x7 rack. and you know, it's kind of house decor, you can switch it out, but I'm not putting these little hangers on mine, nor backing. I'm going to do them as a wall hanging, somewhat similar in style to the Halloween one that I did and showed you a little bit ago. I enjoy these, they're kind of fun. I have noticed that they're getting a little better at writing their instructions. They're a little bit more, they don't look so amateurish. The very first set of instructions that came out were a little bit disorganized. Now they've got it down pat. And we'll see from there. Now, I don't know if they're running out of steam here or ideas, and this is not a criticism of this particular company. I appreciate the fact that they're giving these to us for nothing to work on, and that's great. But I'm finding the last couple of designs were getting a little less involved. Like this one, yeah, it's okay. I think I'm going to change the colors on it, but that's okay. You can do that. You can also add other things to these, use this as your base. But I just have a feeling, you know, they've been doing it for, well, it'll be a year. So I imagine they're running out of ideas for this kind of thing. But that's not really a criticism of them. I still love them. I think they're kind of cool, and I think it's going to make a really neat wall hanging when I get it all done. But of course, that's not going to happen until I get all the doors. And I won't get the last door until the first part of December for the December door. So there's November and December, just 2 more doors left to go. Okay, so ends the mathematics lesson today. Okay, what else? Yes, speaking of wall hangings, I have nothing to show you with it yet, but I'm still working on the Starry Night Santa wall hanging. 32 tiles in it. I have done 12 or 13 of the tiles so far, and I've kind of put it on the back burner while I'm working on these Christmas card things and that quilt and the whole bit, but I got to get back to it because I want it done before, you know, the middle of November, because I want to hang it up. So that's coming next. Some coffee. And sorry if you heard me slurping it. Okay. What else? Well, I saw something that was kind of interesting. I don't know if I'll give this a go. Not going to try it right now. Just put it on the back burner as in my idea file. And I saw somebody, who was it? Stitches by Julia is the name of the YouTube channel. She was experimenting with coloring in a piece of fabric that had a very light pattern on it with watercolor paints, which I found really interesting. Now, yes, you can paint on fabric. Everybody knows that. You get fabric paint for that, or you can make your own with acrylic paint. You get a product called Fabric Medium. I have some of it. If you buy the golden brand, I think it's GAC 900. It's about 20 bucks for a bottle or something like that. Might be a little less than that, I'm not sure. You mix a little of that in with your paints, and that allows your paints to become waterproof, so you can wash them. Now, with acrylic paint, I could see that, but what caught my eye was that she was using watercolors. And she wasn't using anything special. She was using a brand, a good brand called Koi. I have some of those, but she said you could use it with any kind of watercolors. And she showed you how to sort of mix it up with your fabric medium. And then she just painted right on the fabric. And it was kind of neat because it did give the fabric a watercolor effect. And then she showed what it looked like after she washed it. Now you heat set it with an iron. Like many products that are meant for painting on fabric, you have to do that with them, and this is no different. And you just press it, and then she threw it in the wash, and she threw it in the dryer. And yeah, they faded a little bit, but because it's watercolor, it just kind of goes with it, because watercolor has that sort of faded look. And she put enough watercolor paints into her mixtures that really they were relatively dark when it went into the wash, so you didn't really notice that it had faded slightly. I wouldn't do this kind of thing on a quilt that you're going to use on a bed or something like that, but as a piece of art, as textile art, or as a wall hanging, that kind of thing, I think it could be really kind of neat, especially if you're a person, not like me, who can actually paint, who can draw and paint, which I can't do. But there's lots of opportunities here. I know that on the Quilter's Way, Chatterbox Quilts, Kim Jameson Hurst, who's the host of that and also the owner of the Quilter's Way, she did a YouTube video showing how to use, I think it was, she was using pencil crayons and stuff like that on a applique for a wall hanging. Now, she didn't say anything about washing it, so I'm not sure about, that. But again, thinking outside of the box, especially when you're doing an art piece. So, as I said, this is one of the things in my idea bucket, which I may or may not ever get to. I have a ton of ideas that I keep records of, make lists of, put in a file folder, and then promptly forget about them until sometime when I'm looking for something to do, which is rare. I usually have lots of things to do. I go looking in there and go, hey, yeah, there's an idea. Let's try that. Okay. The other thing that's coming up next that I want to get started on is some Christmas napkins, and I've shown you some of the fabric that I have to make those from. I just have to get on with it. Those will be done with my serger, so I should check my serger supply of thread to see if I have some appropriate colors for the fabric I'm thinking of doing this on. That's down the road, but I better get on with those too. And in fact, the other night we had a guild meeting. I'm going to say a little bit more about guilds near the end of this. We had a guild meeting and the executive, and we were looking for our December challenge. And we do a lot of things in the guild throughout the year in regular times, pre-COVID. We make charity quilts, we make different items for different groups and things like that we give to them. And one thing we like to do for the Christmas season is make placemats, and we give them to the Meals on Wheels people. And when they deliver the Christmas dinners to the shut-ins, they deliver them with one of these Christmas placemats. And it seems to be very popular and very much appreciated. So when we're looking to figure out how we can do our community outreach projects, that's what we call these, this year, since we are not meeting physically, only virtually, we did come up with some other ideas. But one of the ideas we thought we would really put into place right now is to make these Christmas placemats. And I happen to have 4 placemats all done, all wrapped up, ready to go. So I'm ahead of the game. I might make some more though. We'll see. Okay. And you saw those in another video, so I'm not going to dig them out and show them to you again. You can find it in the past one if you're interested. So, ongoing projects. Yeah, definitely. Over here, okay, get my bearings right. Up here, no, over here. There are, and I don't know if you can see them very well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 or 8 quilt tops that have been sitting up there forever that are waiting to be sandwiched and to be quilted, commonly referred to as UFOs. And if you've been quilting for any length of time, I am sure you have UFOs. And I used to brag about the fact that I didn't have any UFOs. Somebody said to me, yeah, you'll get over that soon enough. Right, they were. I've got those. And there's actually a couple of really, well, they're all nice because I made them. I love them. But I've got a couple in there that are really gorgeous quilt tops, in my opinion. They're ones I did in classes, and they're large, and I really need to get on with those. But I keep saying, well, wait, I have to do my Christmas things. I am sort of a working procrastinator, if that's such a term. I've just made it up. It's a term now. What I mean by that is I find other projects that keep me from doing the other projects that I should be doing. So, anyways, we'll see about all of that. Okay, shout outs this week. This is for a Canadian YouTube channel. This lady who runs it, it's called Just Get It Done Quilts. Very good. I've actually met her, well, met her as in she came to our guild and gave a presentation a few months ago. well, quite a few months ago now, way back before COVID, so over a year ago. I love her YouTube channel. I watch it all the time. She has great ideas for scrap busting. She has patterns. Her instructions are very clear, and well, it's just nice to listen to her and watch her videos. She does spend a lot of time editing her videos. I will say that. Kudos for her, because as you know, what you see is what you get. I don't edit. Maybe I should, but I don't. Because my heart isn't in editing. My heart's in quilting. The time I could be spending working on sewing projects instead of editing my videos, well, the quilting's going to win out, right? The sewing's going to win out over that. That's the way I like to spend my time. Anyways, I digress, as I usually do. But her name's Karen, and check her out. Now, just before COVID got going here, she'd opened up, she got a studio space, and she is planning to run classes and things like that out of that space. It is in a section of Toronto, which is 40 minutes away from me. Not that far. And I might seriously consider, when this thing's all over and she gets up and running, of, you know, seeing if I can take one of her workshops. The only thing is I have to drive into Toronto, and I don't like driving into the city. Although where she has her shop located, it's not like I have to go downtown Toronto, so that's not so bad. I must be I'm an old man. I don't want to drive anymore. I like people driving for me. Actually, I'm digressing again, but my car is a 2008 Honda Civic. It only has 67,000 kilometers on it, and it's a 12-year-old car. It's in great shape. Best car I've ever owned. And I haven't owned that many cars in my life. I'm very easy on my cars. That's because I get everybody else to drive me places. When I say everybody else, I mean Walter. I call it driving Miss Daisy when we go out anywhere. But I'm not a big fan of driving. I mean, it's not that I'm petrified of doing it or anything like that. But if, you know, someone else can drive me, I'm very happy being the passenger. So, you know, I've always said I'm waiting. I'm going to get a new car someday. I'm waiting for the technology to get so well done that the next car I buy is a self-driving car. It's very common. Everybody has one. They're perfectly safe, and it can drive me, Miss Daisy. And that day's coming, and not that far away, really, if you think about it. So anyways, back to Just Get It Done Quilts. I highly recommend you check it out, and I will put the link for Just Do It Quilts in the show notes below. And every time I do an Idiot Quilter, I intend to do a shout out to a quilting or sewing site that I have found useful. So that'll be a feature of the Idiot Quilter. Okay, let's have another drink. And let's talk about the little trip we did yesterday. We went to a place that's north of us by a little over an hour and 15 minutes or so, called Aurelia. And there's a quilting store up there, a nice quilting store called Thimbles and Things. Haven't been up there since, well, don't know, can't remember. Anyways, we went in to check out what they had. Now, was there anything I really needed? No. But it was an outing, okay? We were getting a little cabin feverish, as I'm sure many people are right now during this time of, you know, self-imposed isolation and the whole bit. So we decided to go up there. It was a lovely day for the drive. And we got in there. And, of course, all the restrictions and the social distancing and the masks and the sanitizers and all of that are in effect. And I had in the back of my mind just to see if what they had in wide back fabric, because I'm always on the hunt for interesting wide back fabric to finish off my quilts. And you always need about 3 meters of it, and it's not cheap stuff. So I also had in the back of my mind that I wanted for wide back fabric, looking for Christmas wide back fabric. Now somebody sent me, because I mentioned this in a previous Idiot Quilter episode, that I'm on the hunt for Christmas wide back fabric, and somebody sent me a website to a great place, but it's in the States. And they did. They had a wonderful selection of wide back fabric, and they had Christmas wide back fabric, which is rare. At least I'm finding it's rare. However, the prices were good, but I always have to figure in exchange rate, and our exchange rate sucks. Our Canadian dollar next to the American dollar just sucks majorly. And shipping. And shipping can cost you. Not only that, am I going to get it? I'm always worried about that when I order anything from outside of the country. And you never know whether it'll get stopped at the border and whether or not I'm going to get nailed with duty or customs. Some things yes, some things no. It's kind of hit and miss. I'm just going to change my camera setting down here a little bit more because I don't know if that made it any better, because it looks like there's a glare from the light overhead. But anyways, I didn't order from them because to make it really worth my while, I would have had to order quite a bit and still no guarantee as to when I would get it. So I didn't. So when I was up at Thimbles and Things, I asked, hey, got any Christmas wide back fabric? No. Which, that didn't surprise me at all. And because it's a seasonal thing, right? But they did have some other wide back fabrics. Actually, they didn't have much to choose from, and what they had to choose from didn't float my boat. But this one did. This one I liked. Now, you know, I love blue. And you can't see it in the video, but there's actually a little bit of sparkle in this I am finding as well, which I didn't notice when I first picked it up. So I got 3 meters of this. Not particularly inexpensive. $26.95 a meter, I think. So you're looking here at almost $100 with tax of fabric. Yeah, and that'll back one quilt. So anybody out there who you know, it's just getting into quilting, I don't want to turn you off from it, but your biggest expense on doing a quilt, in my opinion, tends to be the backing fabric, if you're trying to do it in one piece, or if it says wide back fabric is expensive. Now, really, I suppose when you think about it, depending on what you pay a meter for regular fabric, and with the fabric on regulars anywhere from 40 to 44 inches. So this is 108 inches. So it's, a little bit more than double. So if you bought, you would need, if I bought 3 meters of this, let's say, I'd need about 6 meters of, 5 to 6 meters of regular fabric. If you're paying $20 or $18 to $20, now I don't. I pay usually $15 a meter for regular fabric because that's what my local quilt shop sells it for, which is a really good price. Okay, remember everything's in Canadian dollars here. Okay, so I don't want any comments from the Americans going, "Ooh, that's real." We get it at, yeah, I know you do. I know you get it for less than that. Okay, I wish. I really wish, but that's the state of affairs we have when it comes to economics between our two countries. But anyways, again, I digress. So if you needed 6 meters, say even at 15, that's what? About $180? No, wait. Let's do the math here. 6 times 15 is $90. Okay, $90. So really, I paid $26.95 for this. Works out about the same, I guess. But anyways, yeah. Quilts are expensive. We know that. We do it not because they're cheap. We do it because we like doing it. Okay, so that's what I bought there. Did I buy anything else up there? Yes, I did. I bought some other fabrics too. So I'm going to show this to you. Now, I saw these bundles. I love bundles of fabric because it takes the guesswork out of, how much you need, and more or less the bundles all coordinate. So I saw these. These just scream elegance in my mind, and I don't have a clue what I'll make out of them. I bought 2. There's 5 fat quarters in each, and I bought 2 the same. Weren't a bad price, $21 $21.95. 5 fat quarters metallic. Okay, well, basically fat quarters usually go for, see, look at these, aren't they? I love the purple, but the color's just all, I don't know why I keep thinking of New Year's Eve when I look at these. A New Year's Eve quilt. I wonder if there's ever been such a thing. Probably, but new to me. Anyways, so I've got 10 fat quarters here. That can make a quilt, you know. Add some borders, presto bingo, you are done. $21.95, as I said, for 5. Well, that works out to what? About a little less than $4.50 a fat quarter. Well, that's about the average price in my area for a fat quarter. Again, at my local quilt store, great prices. She charges about $3.50 for a fat quarter. However, I've never seen anything like this in what she has. Not saying that she doesn't have a good selection or anything like that, but I've never seen anything like this. So I debate it. I mean, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, right? So, I can rationalize anything. So, $44, 10 fat quarters of fabric. What's that work out to? About 5 meters? Am I doing that right? No, not quite. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math. But they're gorgeous. Did I say they were gorgeous? Yeah, they're gorgeous. Now, hold on to your hat for a couple of reasons. This next bundle I'm going to show you, I looked at it. I went, oh, wow. Then I looked at the price and went, oh, wow. And I started to walk away. Then Walter spotted it and he goes, wow. He says, I love that fabric on the top of this bundle, which I'm about to show you. I'm building up here to a climax. And as soon as he said, you really like that, I went, no, mine. He's an enabler in many ways. So here it is. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And a lot. And I think there are there's 34 fat quarters, and it includes 2 2/3 yard panels. That's these down. Oh, there's panels in here. I didn't realize 2 of them. I really need to open this up and take a look at what those are. But they're just so beautiful. Now, who are they by? It's called Venice, and it's by Robert Kaufman. Christine Marquis, I think, is the designer. So in total, you have 9.334, well, could you be more exact? 9.334 yards, which also includes 2 2/3 of a yard panels, I guess, in that. But just gorgeous, and they all coordinate. So I'm saving this. I'm not taking this bundle apart. I'm saving this for a pattern that I think is worthy of using these sometime. Now, it's not going to happen tomorrow. In fact, I probably won't get to this until the new year, depending on how things go. But I couldn't resist it. Now, you want to know how much it was? $175. Is that a good price? Well, let's see. They say there's just about 10 yards. Let's call it meters. It's not. But let's call it meters. So let's call it 9 meters, okay? Because it was a little bit, yeah. 9 meters divided into $175 is what? About $20 a meter. That is a little pricey from what I'm used to paying, but in around my area, with the exception of Ultimate Sewing, usually you pay anywhere from about $18 to $20 a meter, especially for fabric like this. So, are you saving money when you buy it this way? No. But if you're in trying to pick out all these colors to go together by just getting yardage, you would probably be hard pressed. This is the hard part's done for you. Okay? So, yeah. I don't resent spending that kind of money. Now, here was the best part of that one, is buying all that fabric that I didn't know until I got up to the checkout. I'm thinking in my head with everything else that I bought, I'm going to show you another thing I bought in a moment, it's probably going to run me $400. No, bargain. It only ran me $302 for the wide back fabric, those 2 bundles of fat quarters, and that big bundle of fat quarter that was $175, because it was 15% off everything you bought in the store that day. I didn't know that when I walked in. Bonus. So the other thing that I bought when I was in that store, 2 things actually. I bought these. Now, this is a little bit ironic. I saw these being discussed on a YouTube video some time ago, and they are basically little arrows. You see, I've taken one off already, and they're called ruler markers. And the idea is you put them on different markings on a ruler, you know, to keep things organized. You know, it's like when you look at a ruler sometimes and you have to do a certain cut, you're looking for the markings on the ruler. Well, these are, you know, you place them at that spot and bang, and they are reusable. They're vinyl. Well, I went on to Amazon and I found them. I think it was $21.99. It was on Prime. I haven't got them yet. I ordered them the first of the month. Now they're in transit right now. I'll probably get them next week. So I already had some on order. Then I saw these hanging up in thimbles and things, and it was $11.95, and there's 192. There's 192 of the ones that I've ordered from Amazon that were $21.99. Know your prices. So I'm paying like $10 more for the ones on Amazon. So I will have them coming out of the yin yang. I will have no lack of these. But I thought, I'm there, I might as well. So I did. And we'll see how often I use them. But I think they're going to be very handy, especially for ruler foot quilting. And that's what I originally got them for. Because on your ruler feet, you know, the ones that are different shapes, your starting and ending point on them are not always that clear when you're working on the quilt. So these will help you to see those a little bit better. At least that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. And then I saw this. It is an applique pattern. I kind of like applique, but I have to be in the mood to do applique. And I'm getting better at it as time goes on. But it does this. This is only 8.5 by 11 in landscape mode. And this is Nova Scotia. There was ones for different parts of Canada, but I really like this. It's Peggy's Cove, very famous site in Nova Scotia. I love lighthouses, things with lighthouses on them. And I just thought that was a really nice piece. And they had some of them hanging up in the store already done. Suitable for framing. Okay. So I'm going to give my... this is one of those projects I probably won't get to for a while, but I have it, and I thought I'd give it a go. And it wasn't that bad. It's the kit. It has all the fabrics you need come with it, and I think it was $21.99, which, not too bad. Now, you could have bought just the pattern for, I think, $7.99, and you could do this out of your scraps, but, you know, why bother? It comes, it's got all the right colors. Let's go for it. So I have another kit. I don't know where it is now. I put it somewhere that I bought some time ago, which is a collage quilt. And I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And I haven't started that either. Okay, these are projects for the new year, when I get the Christmas stuff out of the way. And I get some more of my UFOs done. Yeah. Okay, so those were all my purchases from Thimbles and Things in Aurelia. We also had lunch that day out on a patio. I think in the last 6 months, since we've been sort of in this situation that we're in right now, that was the third time we have had lunch out on a patio somewhere, and it was a really nice lunch, regardless of the little wasps that want to fly around us and enjoy lunch with us. And I don't enjoy wasps, but that was okay. It was nice. It was a nice day out. And I did go to another store that I really like in Aurelia that has nothing to do with quilting. It's called Paper Capers, and I'm going to talk about it on my vlog next week. So if you're a paper crafter as well, you might want to tune into that. Okay, little plug for my other parts of my channel. Let's see here. Okay, let's go to talk about notions and things like that. Okay, I bought a big jug of this Acorn, what do they call it? Acorn Precision Piecing Easy Press Fabric Treatment. This is a gallon jug. Okay, not easy to get it. It's usually sold out, but I was able to get it from the quiltstore.ca, which is my favorite online store for many reasons, and I've told you about those before in previous videos. Why would I want a gallon jug of this stuff? This is the best stuff in the world for making your seams flat. Now, previous to this, when I first got into quilting, I used Mary Ann's Best Press, which is great stuff. But it makes me sneeze. It makes me cough, actually. And I don't know why, because it's supposed to be all natural ingredients in it. But it does. It makes me cough. And I'm not the only person it does that to. I've heard other people say the same thing. It's very weird. And it works. It works fine. And I've got big bottles of it as well. Then I bought this other stuff called Flatter, which is made by a Canadian company out west somewhere. It comes in different scents. At first I was just buying the unscented, but then I kind of got turned on by the scents too. And it's great stuff as well. But then I found this. Excellent. If you've got a seam that when you're trying to press it flat, it just won't go down, you give it a little mist of this, and that sucker's going to lay right down, no problem. Not only that, this is great when you're doing in-machine embroidery too. It's a great substitute for like a spray starch. So I got the big bottle of it. I don't use that much of it, but it's more economic because a small bottle of it runs you like $20 some, something like that. So this cost me $85. So there you go. So I'm really pleased that I was able to get that, and I've got enough to last me for a while. Put it down out of here. I also ordered a couple of other things, might as well, because they have a flat rate shipping of $12. So I might as well get my $12 worth. So I bought this little gauge. Now I saw, when I was watching some videos on ruler foot quilting, I saw a lady from, I think it was So Simple, something like that they call it. She was using this to figure out the distance between her ruler foot and where she wanted to go around her design. And it's marked off 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1 5/8 and things like that. It's only $2.49, and I thought, you know, might be worth having. So I picked that up. And then I saw these. I've never used these before. I've never seen them used. But they are quilt clips. It says, gently holds the bulk of your quilt when quilting. So the idea is you roll up your quilt, right, under your throat of your domestic machine as you're quilting it. And I bought these other clips at one point in time, and they were useless. They weren't meant for quilting, but they were sold at my quilt store, and people were saying, oh yeah, you could use those for your quilts when you roll them up. No, they're not meant for that. I think they're meant for holding things like a rolled up tarp or something like that. I don't know. In theory, you'd think they'd work, but I found they weren't. They were cumbersome. They didn't do the job. So I bought these, and they're showing different ways, like machine quilting, hand quilting. On the back, they're showing you different ways to use them. So I bought 2 packages of them because I didn't figure 2 was enough. 4 is better. And Price-wise, they were $6.99. So not really a big expense. So got 2 of those as well. I'll let you know how they work out. Maybe do a little quickie video showing you how I've used them. Okay, anything else that I bought? I think not. I think that's got everything. Okay, one thing I want to show you, I'm going to insert the video here because it was a little awkward to show it to you while I'm recording this. So I'm going to insert the video, as I said, right here. It is a drawer organizer that I bought for a totally different purpose than what I'm using it for now. So I'm going to insert that right here, right now. I thought I would show you something that I bought actually for another purpose, and it didn't work for that purpose, but fortunately it works out dandy for this purpose, and that's this drawer organizer. Now if you look at it closely, it's meant for flatware. It fits into your flatware drawer, and it has these nice little spots to organize everything. Now, I don't know about you, but my flatware drawer already has a couple of organizing systems in it, and it's always a bloody mess. And when I saw this on Amazon, I couldn't resist. It was about $31 Canadian, so it wasn't particularly cheap. So I got it fairly quickly because I had it on Prime, and I cleaned out my drawer, put this in, started putting stuff in it, and realized it really wasn't going to hold enough of my flatware. Now, of course, I could have weeded out some of my flatware because, I mean, I've got mismatched things in there that I don't need in there, and, you know, little kitchen gadgets and things that no one ever uses but thought was a good idea at the time. But I decided, no, this was not going to work for that purpose. So here I was, I spent $31.99 on this thing that was, I thought, useless to me. And I wasn't going to take the time to send it back to Amazon because, you know, by the time you do all of that, is it worth it? But then I got thinking, I have all these little baskets of little bits and pieces that I use on a regular basis when I'm sewing. So this has now become an organizer, and it's working out great. You can see here that in these slots I have my most frequently grabbed tools, my rotary cutter, my scissors, my 12-inch ruler, and then I have these little baskets that fit right in here to hold my clips and my pins, and then I've got my little caddy, tool caddy. It fits right in here with all these other little items in it, and behind that, marking pens, and way down in here, one of those things that you stick, I don't know what they call them, but you know, it's a little organizer as well. So it all fits in this very neat little tray. Now the advantage of this is it's transportable. So if I need any of these goodies, for example, when I set up all my tables for doing my quilt sandwiches and for quilting, I can just pick up the whole thing, take it with me wherever I want to go. It wouldn't be any good for taking it off to, say, a retreat or something like that. But here around the house, it just makes things a little neater. So really, I bought it for one intention, but it's turned out to be something that's working in another way that I hadn't even thought of. So I guess that's what they call a serendipitous moment. So as I said at the tail end of that video, that was a very serendipitous thing that happened. I love that word, serendipitous. Anyways, can I use it again? Serendipitous. I did. My final thoughts for today before I let you go here. And I'm going to go serious for just a minute. Something that disturbs me a little bit about belonging to a guild. Now, maybe it's because I'm the only man that belongs to this guild. Guilds are supposed to be fun. At least I thought they were. I thought they were supposed to be fun. You know, people sharing ideas, showing what they're working on, social, laughing, and a whole bit. I have found since I've been on the executive of the guild that that's not really the case. People take themselves far too seriously. It's a guild. In 100 years' time, no one's going to care about what we have done or how we conducted our meetings or anything like that. We have people on the guild that, for some reason, are power tripping. They think that they're in complete control and that there's people working under them. An incident came up the other night. It was, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but I really thought we were spending way too much time on something that we didn't need to spend that much time on. And I have found that there are several people who like to hear the sound of their own voice. Now, maybe they come to this because they came from something in their job or their background where either they were in a management situation or they were in a situation where they were being managed. And so they're using the situation they're in now to manage or, or to feel important. I don't know. I would like to think that that's not them. That's just, I'm wrong about my perception, but I don't think I am. I've belonged to many organizations over the years, and this is not something that's unique to a guild. But I think we need to keep in sight, in our mind, why we join a guild. We join a guild, at least I joined a guild, to be amongst other people that had shared a common interest, and so that I could learn as well from people who were more experienced than I was in this area. And that has happened. But, and this is where I think it's because I'm the only man, I don't feel comfortable. First of all, I don't feel comfortable that, and I know it's habit, but they refer to everybody as ladies. I'm not a lady. I'm nothing like a lady. Don't want to be a lady. So I find that sexist. And I find it hurtful. And the reason I find it hurtful when that happens is because, if the roles were reversed, I would be considered misogynistic. And I don't know what the equivalent word is for when females are misogynistic, but they can be as well. Now, as I said, I don't think they're doing it on purpose. But in this day and age where people seem to be all uptight about being politically correct about things, well, here you go. Okay? That's one thing. The other thing is I find that some people look down at me as if I couldn't possibly, because I'm a man, know how to do things like this. The one saving grace for them in their mind is, though, oh, well, he's gay, so that, of course, gay men are all, they're like this. No, they're not. Gay men do other things too. I know gay men who play hockey and football. I know gay men who are into woodworking. Not all gay men can pick up a needle and sew or work on a sewing machine. Okay? So that's a stereotype. So I'm not just one of the girls. And I don't want to be just one of the girls. I want to be just one of the quilters. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't really feel, at least right now, I do not feel, I feel like an outsider still. And I have belonged to this, to my guild for over a year. And one reason, I got asked to be the secretary of the guild. I didn't volunteer, but they were in a pinch. They needed somebody. They came to me. I took it on. But I do not take orders well, and I'm not going to take orders. And what I say and what I do, I make no apologies for it. I'm too old to make apologies for my character, for my personality, or for what I do. I don't do things intentionally to hurt people, but at the same time, don't order me around. Work with me. I'll work with you. So anyways, I am sure there are others of you out there that belong to organizations, guilds or whatnot, where you might feel the same way. And so I guess why I brought it up is just to say quilting is supposed to be fun. When it stops being fun, or if there's some aspect of the quilting that stops being fun for you, reevaluate and take it out of your life and move on to something else that will bring you joy. Because right now, we need a lot of joy in our lives, don't we? So we don't need this headache. I have a plan to alleviate this problem for me. I'm not going to bother talking about it right now because it's just an idea in my head and things can change. Often things do change in my head. A lot. But anyways, I don't want to go off here though on a sour note or on a depressing note. So I do want to say this. I hope you are surviving through this whole situation. I think the best way to survive, if you're a quilter, is to quilt and sew and have fun and try new things in this art, because it is an art. It is an art. It is, we are part of the world of textile fiber artists. Never forget that. We are not just making blankets, people. We're making art all the time. And hopefully you're making art every day, or at least many days in a week. So have a good week. Stay healthy. And next week, maybe, there'll be another episode of The Idiot Quilter. See you then. Bye-bye.